I'd like to introduce to you now Dr. Nelson Camus of Neltron USA Incorporated, inventor of the Neltron way, which is a, quite frankly, fascinating concept that is incorporating apparently vastly disparate concepts utilizing the Urine Battery. This includes levitation, mental telepathy, coal or firewalkers. All have relevance in a unified concept that Dr. Camus will be explaining shortly. He's also going to give a brief scientific, more technical understanding, which is kind of an extra for us here this afternoon, regarding the work of three gentlemen that you have already listened to over the period of this conference, and those being the gentlemen Pantone, Ballman, and Peralt, which there was a lot of discussion and some discrepancies over their validity and their actions, and I think you'll find some unification through Dr. Camus' work here in his presentation. So, nothing more, I'll turn you over to Dr. Camus.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I am very glad to be here to explain the new high-end technology that we have in our human body for the next 21st century. Something during a long time, too many people ask me, why, Nelson, you produce power from nothing? Why we can produce cold fusion reaction all time long than we require, but we cannot accept that reaction because the people don't like to say something. That something that we produce in our body is the real fuel, is the human urine. All the energy that we produce to put in motion all the part of our body like this. When we think, we require energy. When we walk, we require energy. Where that energy comes from? Food? Yes, it's correct. We get power from food. Plus, we cannot be alive if we don't have water. You know, during a long time, the people from Asia, from China, the people from Dalai Lama, from Tibet, they use this kind of technology to produce power for themselves. But here, at the Western, we say, no way. Why? The human body is the unique machine without pollution, producing power all time long until our heart stops. Is correct or not is correct? What do you think? Correct. It's correct. Okay, now I will present why was the reason we got this kind of technology that I will explain at the next few minutes. And why? I was thinking during a long time, why was the reason when I was 24 years old and my daughter was under the big wheels of the Chevrolet 45, and I pulled from the front bumper that car, and I take out my child out. I pull 2,500 pounds in one instant, like this. Why? Why Uri Geller, with his brain, can bone a spoon? Why? Why the people in Mexico, in Guam, in Virgin Island, can walk, charcoal on fire, nobody burn? Why? Why some people can levitate? Why? Why is the reason? The lightning, thunderstorms, before the rain coming. What kind of power produce a lightning? How we cannot capture that power to produce power for ourselves, because those things are natural. Why some people is in South America, in Bolivia, and another people in Russia. This brain from Bolivia send information to the other people in Russia, and they made connection, like mental telepathy. Why? I will explain you from the very beginning why and how we can duplicate that code from God to help the humanity, to help ourselves to reduce the pollution in the earth. Can you play, please? These are the news about the urine battery invention. And now you will know how we got money to go in research. Turn on the audio. This video was made in 1993 when we received the award during the Invention Convention in Pasadena. And all the press came.
We're going to show you an unusual battery that could provide the power to run your home. And Kerry Berglund is flushed with excitement over this one. He joins us live from Burbank. Kerry?
Tawny, with what it costs to heat and cool your house, light all the lights, and run all the appliances, if I told you there was a much cheaper way to do all of this, you'd be interested, right? But what if I told you you were flushing away the main ingredient to this cheaper way? Then what would you say? Excuse me, ma'am, what if I told you you could light your entire house with just what you wring out of his diapers?
Excuse me? What?
What are you, nuts?
Yes, it does sound nuts. And perhaps impossible to light up your whole house and, in fact, power everything in your house with a battery whose main ingredient is...
Urine.
That's right. The man said...
Urine.
This man, doing research in Chile, was able to come up with an artificial compound that has many of the properties of lithium found in most batteries. He named it lithium because his first name is Nelson, and discovered that combining that with a special soil and, yes,
Urine.
he made a battery. The light lights up. Anybody's urine.
It's anybody's urine.
No matter what you eat.
No matter what you eat or drink.
10 years later, Nelson and his partners are ready to start production on a larger size battery that they say can power an entire home, as long as you do your part.
Every time you fill up the tank fills up the battery, you power your whole house.
And they claim the price will average half of what we're paying for power now.
This battery is a lot less expensive than any battery out in the market today.
And why is that?
That's what. Free. That's the reason. And if you want to recharge, free again.
If the secret to success is making something out of nothing, these guys have got it made.
A family of 4, if they can put 4 to 5 gallons in a day, they can run the whole house with urine.
That's, of course, feeding the kids a lot of soda all day long. Now, these guys, with their invention, will be at the Invention Convention.
Antonio Mora, Susan Lichtman, Mark Thompson, Dagny Hultgreen, Suzanne Dunn. This is Good Day, LA.
Have some invention at the Invention Convention that'll help us save energy.
Yeah, that would be nice. Mark Thompson's out there in Pasadena. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Susan. Good morning, Antonio, my late-night friend. And this is, hey, you can never get enough sort of references to urine at this hour of the morning. This is the Urine Battery, and believe it or not, this truly is a breakthrough. I know we could make jokes about it, but this is a battery powered by urine. And Stephen Gnass, the founder of the Invention Convention, is here. Stephen, tell us about what we're seeing right now.
This, in my opinion, is going to be very much like what Thomas Edison created when he created the electric light bulb. There was absolutely nothing on the market before that.
It does actually operate. They've got a light here.
Right. It operates on urine, and you know, it's very...
Hence the name Urine Battery, I guess.
We watched the experiment in the office, and everybody goes, wow. I mean, you know, it's like...
Which part of the experiment did you say wow to?
When somebody had to get the test tube filled.
Okay, there you go. See, we're a team. Well, we could play Vegas. No, but truly, this is for real. This is no joke.
Right.
It's human urine, and it actually powers electric appliances, light bulbs.
He's going to do a display today where he's going to show the TV, the fan, the light, several other you know, electrical items that are going to be running here on urine. And he's going to be taking samples from people to go to the bathroom. They'll bring their own human urine here, and he will show them how they'll light up a light with their urine.
Did I shake hands with you? I can't remember.
I think so.
Listen, good luck with the... You've been doing this. You're the founder of this entire...
7 years, 7 long years.
And folks looking for licensing and investors, there is truly, it runs the gamut.
This is like the dating game for inventors, to bring investors together with people that need investing and distributing.
They're here from all over the world, and they're here all weekend at the Pasadena Convention Center. Thank you.
All the urine from the audience
Also, just
we
ahead
use
tonight,
to
can
turn
you
on
build a
all
better
the light
mousetrap?
of
If
our
so,
booth.
bring it here to the Invention Convention, next, live at 5.
This is Action News for all of Southern California with Tricia Toyota and Chris Canangla. Now, Channel 2 Action News live at 5.
Just ahead on Action News Live at 5, the inventors who hope to get a charge out of their catchy new ideas. Some new ideas are on display this weekend. Inventive people are trying to turn big ideas into big bucks at the annual Invention Convention.
And what else can I say but urine battery?
And if you put it in a battery, you'll get electricity.
Let's say your battery's dead. You need to recharge it. Is it that simple? You just
Put urine in the battery, and it's automatically charged, real fast and simple.
the convention center here in Pasadena is going to be open for the convention show all weekend long from 10 to 6. Jose, come on down and maybe test some of the items here.
Yeah, Dave, I'm going to run right out and get me one of them there urine batteries there, buddy. Bring it back with me, but be careful when you do.
All right.
And finally tonight, someone once said that necessity is the mother of invention, and it's not Frank Zappa. And inventions are the centerpiece this weekend at the Pasadena Civic Auditorium. Running through tomorrow is the 1993 Invention Convention. But here's one. It's called a urine battery. That's right, runs on urine.
Well, basically, it's a chemical reaction between the urine and a compound which we make that we call lithium. When you mix these two, You change the chemical composition in the urine, and you get energy out of it. Then you can turn on your lights or anything you want.
Imagine one day fueling your own power plant with urine. By the way, urine not included. Its inventor hopes to see the urine battery used in recreational vehicles and perhaps cabins in remote locations one day. Who knows? We'll see.
A urine battery. I wonder if cars could run on it too, kind
I don't know.
of. In the future.
Kids, don't try this at home.
Well, that's it for us tonight.
That's right. We'll be here tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow with Ellen Leva at 10 o'clock for 13 Real News.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
And the power of imagination. Inventors shopping their wares at this year's Invention Convention.
Of aerospace engineers, they came to Pasadena looking for one thing.
Funding, distribution, profitable item.
The big winner here, the urine battery. That's right, converting human waste into electrical energy.
It's also less expensive.
Readily accessible.
And very accessible.
People may laugh, but during the convention, ARCO offered $5 million for development of the urine car battery. India and Sri Lanka have promised over $50 million for the first urine-run electrical power plants.
News for this Labor Day, I'm Mike Schneider. Thanks for watching. Tom Brokaw will be back here tomorrow night. For all of us here at NBC News, good night.
Y la creación se está llevando a cabo en la ciudad de Pasadena debido a que usa el orina humano para hacer funcionar.
Okay. This was a joke? No joke. Was real. But today, we cannot follow with that system because we receive money to make a small screen about that project. Let me tell you something. We built a battery for the electric vehicle for ARCO. We installed a 22 horsepower DC motor in the Volvo 760 GLE. We did start in 1984 with the ARCO people with the battery powered by urine. We did start from San Diego. We arrived in San Francisco. We had fuel enough. And then when we arrived in Bakersfield, in the back way, we required a little bit of charge. And we charged in Bakersfield with 15 minutes from the line until to arrive back in San Diego. How much was the cost of almost 800 miles? $2.50. But what's going on if in the world we produce something like this? We produce an economy collapse. We destroy the economy of each country around the world. Because the urine, how much did it cost? Zero. We drain urine all time long when we drink beer. It's correct. Okay. But I will explain from the very beginning why we get the power from the urine. The human metabolism to get energy from the food and the hydrogen from water require ATP. It is adenosine triphosphate. This is the real energy from food and water. The adenosine triphosphate we convert into adenosine diphosphate. When we get this reaction, of transformation of energy, we get mega electron volt of energy. The same thing than when we produce fission reaction in the nuclear power generator. This is the real energy that we have. But some people are overweight because they eat a lot of calories from fat every day, but they don't eat a lot of calories from energy like we can get from fibers. What happened in our human body metabolism? The adenosine diphosphate produced as a cold fusion reaction in the body to stimulate our nerves with a free Neltrons. The normal technology that we have today from the university and from the scientists, they cannot understand this part. They understand this part because they say, if you have one, you cannot get two from one because one is equal to one. It's correct, I understand. But why we can produce more power out than the power in? Every time we produce more power out than the power in, it's real. The system is how we can produce neutrons. The scientific community in the world say exist only the electrons. Neutrons, nobody know it. Nobody discovered before. But at the next minute, I will show you how we can modulate neutrons instead of electrons, and we can produce devices at low cost. That is the real way. How we can produce some new discovery here, and at the instant, we produce device that the people can commercialize, and the people from the factory, our factory, can get income. Too many scientists around the world are working with new discovery, but nobody made money. The $55 million that we got in 1993, we use it. 85% of that money to move a new research and development from this know-how, the neutrons. And then we have a factory now in production of the best color copier system, the intelligent copiers, cold fusion reactors, and Neltron turbo batteries to save 40% of fuel for every vehicle. And we warranty 10 years long. We commercialize with our own company. Later I will explain how we do it. But let me return to the Neltron, how we discovered the Neltron. Okay, go ahead with the projection, please. Okay, we have here all this part, we have thunderstorm and the lightning here. panel doesn't work. No, it reflects the light. Okay. This part, clouds and lightning. This guy levitates at front of his friend. The Indian people of Virgin Island are preparing charcoal on fire, and then the people, American people, are walking on charcoal on fire. Why nobody did burn food? The explanation is not coming from me. It's coming from the year 1919. A New Zealand scientist, Ernest Rutherford, discovered how to produce hydrogen and oxygen from nitrogen. At that time, was no good deal because we had a lot of fuel, lower consumption. Why the people produce new kind of fuel for vehicle if in that time 1 gallon of gasoline cost 3 cents? But when I discovered through my background how to produce fission reaction at Princeton University in 1975, when we made with John Aristotle Phillips in the classroom the first 55 kiloton atomic bomb, 5 kiloton more power than the Hiroshima bomb in classroom. We got the real way how we can produce fission reaction. And when we produce fission reaction, what's going on in the atmosphere? We produce an electromagnetic pulse instant with a strong power, and at the instant, every watch and every engine using a spark plug stop like this. Why? But the human body can produce the same thing, but not a fission reaction using radioactive material. We can produce cold fusion reaction without radioactive material, only if we have water. Many scientists are asking now about the superconductor room temperature. All of you and me, anybody, produce superconductivity at room temperature when we generate adrenaline. That was the reason when I was 24 years old, I pulled up the front bumper of the Chevrolet 1945, 2,500 pounds, and I did take my daughter out. I pulled 2,500 pounds in one instant. I got the superconductivity at room temperature in my human body. Because at that instant, when we have some shock at front of us, we can remember with our brain all the entire life until today. It's real. It's not a joke. But how we can stimulate, how we can produce the neutrons. What are the neutrons? Next picture, please. Here, in the page 23 of the last Exotic Research magazine, you can read very well the same thing that I will explain here now. about what is the neutron. We have here one hydrogen atom. We have inside the proton, we have a neutron, we have the electron outside. The today's technology that the scientists believe is inside the nucleus we have positrons. But nobody discovered at the top of the electron we have something. If we like to maintain the stabilization of the nucleus just on the center of the orbital motion of the electron, we need to have the same mass from the nucleus and the magnetism than we get from the electrons. Or this nucleus comes down. In fission reaction that we made the weapon in the university in 1975, what we did, with my friend, we pushed the neutron out using radium chloride. And we got radium chloride from the X-ray than airport surplus. When you carry your luggage, they expose for security to the X-ray. 20 years ago, they used radium chloride to produce the X-ray. It was simple and easy to find radium. When we push out the neutrons using a tiny and a stupid gift and a small firework than we used in the July 4th. We push the neutron out in the radium and we create chain reaction and fission at the instant, like this. Pop! But in fusion reaction that we have in our human body from water, the hydrogen has different polarization than our body produces. For example, if we fill up water in the electrolytic cell, we will have, in the positive, we will have oxygen. And at the negative electrode, we will have hydrogen. The same thing occurs if we produce hydrogen peroxide, the future fuel, or helium-3, the same thing. When we have hydrogen, a negative polarization, we can produce explosion and implosion at the same time. But the scientists say the hydrogen only explodes. And I say them, they are wrong. Because the hydrogen is the unique element that causes implosion and explosion at the same time, producing vacuum. In this way, I discovered to maintain the stability of nucleus just at the center of the atom, we require to have another particle like the positron with negative. The positron is the most powerful particle that we have in any atom, but it is positive. In the cold fusion reaction, the power comes when the positron is going out. And then you get fusion. When you take out the neutron, you produce fission reaction and radioactivity. But what we can do to produce power at cold fusion reaction if the positron goes out? Only if we unbalance the structure of the mole, the structure of the atom. For instance, we need to take out the neutron, that Nelson particle, out, and immediately the positron goes out. The mass of the neutron, according, if we compare with the electron, is 1 million less. It's 1 in 1 million. That is the weight mass. The same thing is the positron. It is 1 in 1 million part of the weight of the nucleus. When we produce fission reaction using radioactive material, what's up? When we take out the neutron, immediately the electron collapses down the nucleus, and the nucleus go in destruction, producing a strong power, pushing in chain reaction the other nucleus of the other atoms. In cold fusion reaction, it's a reverse. Because when we push out the neutron, the positron goes out at the same time, but we maintain the stability of the nucleus just at the center. But the electron, because it has less weight, because we take out the neutron, the electron comes in this way and collapse here the nucleus, because the magnetism from the nucleus capture the electron inside, producing the cold fusion reaction and the new element. With this theory, we can produce devices, we can modulate for telecommunication purposes anything that we want. We have the superconductor room temperature ready, but the world is not ready to accept. Because if we appear with a superconductor right now with a wideband of 100 gigahertz, wideband, with 0.2 dB less each 10,000 kilometers. It takes 6,000 miles. With that wideband, we put obsolete all satellites. We are not ready yet, but we'll do it. Because our target is, at the next 5 years, probably, we will have some joint venture with Bill Gates of Microsoft. We are in that way. The other thing is how we can structure this to produce power all time long, that I will demonstrate here. How we can turn over any lead-acid battery in cold fusion reactor. Because somebody asked me, Nelson, probably you have battery here. Yes, I have battery. But this battery is a regular battery, but it is a cold fusion reactor. Any battery using lead can produce cold fusion reaction. That is the reason when you have a lead-acid battery in your car and you start almost 30 times your engine, the power of the battery goes down, and then you cannot start. But the scientists say, it regenerates power. It regenerates power, but where that power comes from? Because when you have that battery without power, and you wait almost 3 or 4 minutes, you can restart. Is yes or no? Okay. You transform your own battery in the first cold fusion reactor. Why? Because when we drain the power from the battery, we get neutrons out and then positrons out. If you install, when you drain from the lead acid battery, you install a Geiger counter a short distance, you will get alpha rays outside the battery. Please, anybody do it. Why we produce alpha rays? Helium. When we discharge the lead acid battery, because the hydrogen goes in transmutation to helium-3. I will explain now in scientific form what's going on. We have hydrogen. But this hydrogen, it converts, when we drain power at front of lead, at front of PB, it's lead. We convert into deuterium. And that deuterium, it converts into tritium. With some alpha particles going out. And then it converts by itself in helium-3. All the people who came yesterday to the Bruce Perot and Mr. Calvin Baldwin explanation, the NASA people in their video, they show the real future for power comes from helium-3. We produce helium-3. Every time when we start the engine, we produce helium-3. Free energy, cold fusion reaction. But how to duplicate at the time that we want? That is the real way. That is our way, the Neltron way, how to duplicate. Because before to get rain, we have the thunderstorms and the lightning sometimes. And why? Because the Van Allen belt of the Earth discharge tiny particles of neutrons. This part. When you take out this, the positron will be out, and then you produce cold fusion reaction in the nitrogen of the atmosphere. The air has almost 74.42% of nitrogen. And then, according to Rutherford formulation, he did bombard nitrogen plus alpha particles. Alpha particles are helium nucleus. And he got hydrogen plus oxygen that I mentioned here. But only one person did discover this from 1918. My company, our researchers, discovered in the library all the research from Rutherford from 1918. Look at this. We have nitrogen with atomic weight 14 plus helium atomic weight 4, and we get oxygen 17 plus hydrogen 1. But why is the reason we need to use lead? why during long time in the library we can find a lot of books about the transmutation from the Egypt lead transmuting into gold. Do you remember? Why? Because we discover another thing. If we start from helium and we arrive to lead, the hydrogen, it converts by itself into lead. And then we can departure from lead back to get hydrogen again. This is the power from the sun. Because in this way, we can produce power all time long. Recycled power. In our theory, we say the hydrogen suffer a constant transmutation in all the periodic table of elements until to get the last one, it is lead. But we can produce from lead, platinum, palladium, gold, and any element before lead. Only if we trigger neutrons out. But another question is, in telecommunication purposes, if we have the electron speed the same than the light speed, 300,000 kilometers per second, if we have the neutron with 1 in 1 million the weight of the electron, how fast is the neutron? Multiply 300,000 kilometers per second multiplied by 1 million. That is the ultra-fast speed of the neutron. When you push out in the human body the neutron, you produce fusion reaction, and immediately you can separate the moles of the body, like Jesus Christ did it. It's in the Bible. Jesus Christ was walking, trespassed the wall, and formed on the other side his body. It's real. Only if we excite the neutrons. Exciting neutrons, we can produce anything that we want. And the way we have in the measure. Only we need to duplicate the lining, and only we need to duplicate this. Let me show you. Okay. This is an empty glass. This is water. And now I will explain why was the reason that the small disk from Mr. Bowman yesterday in the afternoon was running with cold water. Okay. The normal scientists say this. The water is inside. If we add some piece of ice, the humidity produces condensation around the glass. That is not correct. That is a real mistake from the scientists. Because when you insert ice inside the water, immediately occurs this reaction producing deuterium, tritium, and helium-3 outside. When we have helium-3 outside the glass, immediately, according to Rutherford, we produce hydrogen and oxygen. And then the water comes out. This is my theory. It's a new theory that we have, but we are using a device still working well, without polluting materials, without radioactivity. In 1873, when men and mechanics from Bolivia, South America, came with his own machine, and he installed his machine, a hydrogen generator, in one boat. It's in the book you can find in the library. Jim Manning has one book about it. He did install that generator inside the boat, and he was running without fuel, without gasoline, using the fuel from the ocean, running the engine, and every root motor of 85 horsepower. He was in front of different politicians, and too many people, too many venture capital people came over there, and then the Department of Energy made a small screen about him, and he was in jail. And somebody killed him in jail. I was a friend of his nephew. Because he made the same thing like this using photosynthesis from plants. Because the ray can excite the neutrons out, producing cold fusion reactions. That is the reason the plant required to be at front of the sun to grow. The same thing in our body. If we are not going outside and we get some sunshine in our body, we cannot produce a lot of power, we cannot sing anything. Our brain goes step by step. We need the sunshine. Okay, I would like to follow with my explanation because it's very interesting for the new knowledge and the new good understanding about this new technology. But I need to explain in very short time what's going on at the next step. When we get the nitrogen from the orbital output from the transmutation of hydrogen and oxygen, immediately we can use helium-3 to bombard with particle alpha, and then we will get 2 atoms of hydrogen plus 1 atom of oxygen from nitrogen. And then we create water. And here I have a cell using both methods that I am showing here. This is the first method to produce water, and this is the second method to produce hydrogen peroxide. And the first method, we produce energy, and the second method, we produce energy. If we switch like this, tick, 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 like I will show you, we will produce power forever from the atmosphere. This is the reactor, cold fusion reactor. And I have a switch, on, off, on, off. It's a toggle switch. In that side, the switch is on. It doesn't have power. On the other side, it doesn't have power. But if I return to produce water, I will get power. If I go back to get hydrogen peroxide, I will get power. If we switch like this, we produce power all time long, forever. Input nitrogen from the atmosphere. This one is a Neltron trigger. This is the device that we produce for trigger to produce cold fusion reaction in batteries. In my own house, I pay $2.85 per month in my electric bill, using a 5-kiloton air conditioner, working 10 to 12 hours a day. Dozens of times, the inspector from the utility company came from my home to check the meter. Nothing. I am using a 25 truck batteries, 245 amps hour, 12 volt each one. Use a lead acid battery, and I use only this trigger, and then a small solar panel that I have outside, 20 inches wide, 20 inches length. That's it. And then I can produce power all time long to my home. 7.2 kilowatt per hour. And the money that I pay to the utility company is only because they charge a minimum basic per month. But we need to take care, because if we follow with this system, somebody can kill me. But I need to be alive. We have too many applications of this new know-how, and I need to still alive. Right now, this is a hydrogen peroxide. But the hydrogen peroxide normally is a gas. How we can put the hydrogen peroxide in liquid? Because when we use the Neltron technology, we can put a reverse the polarity of the hydrogen. And then when you have the hydrogen a positive and the oxygen a negative, you can put a liquid. When you insert inside the Neltron turbo battery, we have inside the same method that I have in this one. Some part, when you charge and discharge the battery, your own lead acid battery, some part of the plate transmute into platinum and palladium. Charge the battery and discharge quickly. Open the battery and you will get palladium and you will get platinum in it from transmutation. You can do it. That is the reason we regenerate power in the battery with our starter. When we open this, we fill up. This container has 2 ounces. If we use 1 ounce, we fill up here, and we can run with any internal combustion engine using a spark plug for 600 miles, saving 40% of fuel with warranty. And also in Europe, we have hundreds of units, and we offer to the customer the reward. Because over there, the people don't like the automatic transmission. They love a standard shift. If somebody using the Neltron turbo battery cannot start and move the car in 4th shift, we give them a reward of $1,000 plus 1 unit free in 4th gear. And today, I will install 1 unit to one gentleman here. He has a standard shift, 5th gear, 4-wheel drive Toyota 4Runner, and we will start in 4th with 4 people inside. Because this is a real power, hydrogen peroxide. This output carries hydrogen peroxide in combination with the gasoline. It produces the same thing that Mr. Weissman, the last speaker, told. Easy to install, 15 minutes, that's it. How the people can get a guarantee saving fuel? Because we install a regulator bulb in the flow of the gasoline before to arrive the flow in the main input of the injectors. When you watch the hands and you open up full the bulb, you have the total amount of flow. Is correct? If you restrict a half, you will save water. We'll do the same thing outside in the vehicle. I am running with my own vehicle. It's a 98 Buick Century, 3.8 liter, running at 62 miles per gallon. I can show you, I have half tank, and I did fill up in LA a full tank. Normally, I require to arrive here 1.5 tank. I use only 1/2. That's it. Any question? Go ahead.
About 100,000 questions.
Let me tell you something. In South America, last year we sold more than 22,000 units of this. 22,000 units of this. With 22,000 of this kind of Neltron turbo battery, we have the satisfaction of the people over there in buses fleet, saving $15 average per day in fuel. Multiply $15 by 365 days per year, how much? In 5 years, every one of those guys can get a brand new bus free. This is real. And this is one of the real application of my know-how, the Neltron. Gasoline, no diesel yet. Let me tell you another thing. Do you know the quality about the Kinko's copier machine? I would like, as you can see, this quality copy made by Neltron modulation in our own color copier and intelligent copier. This is the copy. This is the original. And you can copy at the reverse. Look at this quality of pictures, better than Kinko's, that cost 3 cents each, using the Neltron way. And we have available the product.
Started with slick paper.
Yeah. We produce paper, we produce everything.
How much does Kinko's cost?
$1.45.
No, I'm not talking the customer cost. How much is their cost to produce?
Almost 82 cents. Because the price of the toner cartridge from Xerox laser color copier, you can show to the other gentleman. The cost is $700 for each 1,000 copies. And the cost for us to make 1,000 copies is $35.
Is this in advance of the urine battery?
Yeah. We cannot make the urine battery because the people from government will kill us. The real way was pick up this $55 million and don't mention anymore something like this. That was the way. The urine battery is underground. That is the reason we produce another type of device to don't have any trouble.
ARCO put it underground, they bought it?
$5 million. To put underground how to build the urine battery for electric vehicle.
Is that worldwide or just United States?
United States. There you have the headquarters, Atlantic Richfield Company.
Now, on this battery, you say you get enhanced fuel mileage.
Yeah, this.
And on the urine battery, you could run it all the time.
Yeah. We cannot produce that. If you are the president of ARCO, you don't like something like this because where will be your next customer to sell fuel? You destroy yourself if I appear with something like this in the future. We need to go step by step. Probably at the next 20 years, if I am still alive, probably I will move in that way. Okay. Okay. You can use a 25 truck battery like I have in my car, in my home. And you can only, when you charge through the generator, you charge the battery for 1 second, and then you disconnect through a switching system, You disconnect the first battery, and then you have all the other 24 in charging. Because right now, I would like to show you something. I have a solar panel outside. This is the output of the solar panel. We will check here through this ammeter. I will show you how many amps we can get from the solar panel. Okay, we have 430 milliamps from outside. This is the reactor. This is the output of the reactor. It has 0 amps outside. 0 amps. We will excite the reactor to produce the neutrons, and we will have the same amps than we had from the output. But the way is, how? With 0.44 amps and 12 volts outside, we can charge batteries. In parallel, we can use 1 million of batteries in parallel and charge and drain each second and drain the power that we want. You need to drain the lead-acid battery each second, and then you will get power all time long, because it produces cold fusion reaction in it each second. If you excite through the Nelson trigger.
Can we measure the alpha decay? You said it produces alpha radiation?
For example, a battery of 240 amps hour, like a truck battery, that kind of a battery can produce you to withdraw 500 amps every 1 second, each 25 seconds of lapse time. The first battery, you charge the 25 battery at the same time through the Neltron way. The Neltron way produces the same output than the input, but only trigger the Neltron to produce transmutation of all plate inside each battery using lead acid. When the first one, you withdraw 500 amps in the first one, you go to the second, go to the third, go to the fourth. Every 1 second you withdraw. When you complete at the 25th, you have the other 24 ready to go. And all time long, you can drain power from the lead-acid battery, only if you trigger through the Neltron. And then, this is the output. If you can see here what's going on when I install the voltmeter in this tube lead-acid battery. We have 12.13 volts. When we connect this, look at this. What's up?
Hold that up. Read it for us.
The voltage turns crazy.
12 point, well, it's
Goes up, down, up, down, up, down.
12.43, 22, 43, 22 to 43.
It turns crazy. Normally, the battery charger, when you charge, it never turns crazy, the voltmeter, because immediately when you put the battery to charge, immediately it goes up, 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 very slowly. But this goes like this, tick, 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 tick. And I can charge this battery at the next half hour. But I can install 1 million of battery at the same time, and I will get 1 millionth of time the same power that each one.
At this point, I do have to stop you, Doctor. We have to move on to our final speaker today. Any other questions that you have for Dr. Camus? We'd appreciate it if you would talk to him to the side so we can move on to our last speaker. But he can't say it now. He may have been going to, but unfortunately, we only have a very finite amount of time. I'm also going to have to tell you.
Thank you.
We're not going to have a lunch break because our final speaker, Mr. Paul Brown, will only be speaking for approximately 30 minutes, and we have to get this in before we go to the lunch break.